newcomers. And so, this talk is ongoing talk, and it is very technical. So many people may not understand this talk. I have prepared some of the yogis for this talk, and so although they have no difficulty in following the talk, there are others to whom this subject is totally new. So today I'll talk about Vipassana a little before we begin our regular talk. Now, what is Vipassana? Another name for Vipassana is Satipatthana. That means setting up mindfulness or establishing mindfulness. So when you practice Vipassana meditation, you practice mindfulness. You try to be mindful of the object at the present moment. So when you practice Vipassana, you live in the present moment, or you live with the present moment. You do not think about the past, or you do not think about the future, but just try to be mindful of the thing at the present moment. Just try to live in the present moment. When you are mindful of the thing at the present moment, when you are fully aware of the object at the present moment, your mind becomes purified. Formerly, your mind may have impurities in it, but the moment mindfulness arises in your mind, these impurities go away, and so your mind is purified. And when mind is purified, you feel peaceful. So purity of mind and peacefulness are the immediate results of meditation, or immediate results of mindfulness. Now, some of you may want to say, I am practicing Vipassana and I am not peaceful, I am agitated, I cannot concentrate, something like that. Now, if you practice in a wrong way, you will not get peacefulness. So in order to get peacefulness, you have to approach it in a right way. And that is, your mind needs to be very free from all desires or expectations. There are expectations in your mind is contaminated. So your mind is not free, not clean, so mindfulness cannot establish itself in your mind. So in order for mindfulness to come to your mind, you have to prepare your mind. You have to clean your mind. And so you have to give up or drive out whatever expectations or desires you may have with regard to meditation. Again, you may want to say, Bhante, we expect benefits. We want to get benefits. That is why we come to the practice of meditation, and now you are telling us not to have expectations. Now, when you build something, let's say when you build a pagoda, you use scaffolding, right? Scaffolding. So with the help of scaffolding, you build the pagoda. But when the pagoda is finished, what do you do to the scaffolding? You tear it down, right? You do not say, oh, it has been helpful to us, we might as well keep it there. But nobody keeps the scaffolding when the building is finished, so it has to be torn down. In the same way, because you want something from this meditation, because you expect benefits from this meditation, you come to meditation. But once you are in meditation, that means you have accomplished your purpose of coming to the meditation. Once you are in meditation, now that expectation becomes an obstacle. Just as the scaffolding is an obstacle once the pagoda is finished. You don't want to see the scaffolding, you want to see the pagoda. So when you are right in the practice, you need to tear down that scaffolding of desire or expectations. So long as there is desire in your mind, so long as expectations are in your mind, you cannot get even mindfulness. So you have to clear your mind of these expectations or desires or whatever. The benefits may be compared to a shadow. So when you follow the shadow, you don't get it. It goes away from you. The moment you stop following it, but don't care about it and go the other way, the shadow follows you. Similarly, if you are desirous of benefits and with that desire you practice meditation, the benefits will go farther and farther away from you because you cannot get mindfulness, you cannot get concentration. Once you don't think about them, just do what you have to do, that is mindfulness of the thing at the present moment, then they will come. So when you practice meditation, you need to have an I don't care attitude. Say to yourself, I don't care if I don't get results. I don't care if I don't get concentration. I don't care for anything at all. The only thing I care is mindfulness. So long as I am mindful of the object at the present moment, I have done my duty, I have done what is to be done, and that is all there is to it. So something like that attitude you need to have when you practice meditation. So with that attitude, your mind is free, your mind is clean, open, and so mindfulness can easily be established in your mind. The moment mindfulness is established in your mind, as I said before, your mind becomes purified and you are tranquil and peaceful. So tranquility and peacefulness is actually the immediate benefit of mindfulness. And mindfulness is a very powerful tool even in dealing with problems in daily life. Whatever mental state arises in you, you can apply mindfulness to that state and you can overcome it. For example, you are depressed. So long as you are thinking of what depresses you or the cause of depression, it will arise in your mind again and again. But if you apply mindfulness to depression itself, if you make the depression the object of mindfulness, or in other words, if you make notes of depression as depressed, you will see for yourself that it goes away. So whatever say mental state, unfavorable mental state arises in your mind, you can apply mindfulness to it and you will see that it will disappear. Your mindfulness should be not superficial, though it must be strong and intense mindfulness. So once you apply mindfulness to these mental states, whatever mental states they are going to disappear. So mindfulness is beneficial not only when you practice meditation, but even when you are outside meditation in your daily life, you can apply mindfulness. You can use mindfulness as a means, as a tool to solve some of your problems in your mind. And I hope you believe in mind being able to influence matter. Now when you are depressed for a long time, you become, or you look old in a short time, your hair become gray and so on, and that is mind influencing your body, or the material properties in your body. Now when you practice meditation and when you have mindfulness and also concentration, then your mind is pure, and this pure mind can affect your material properties in the body. Even some illness, some ailments can be healed by this power of mind, by the power of mindfulness. So if you practice mindfulness, I think you will look younger, you will stay healthier, and you will have a long life. Because so long as there is mindfulness in your mind is not contaminated by what are called mental impurities, which torment the mind. So when there are no torments in the mind and your mind is tranquil and peaceful, the material properties influenced or even produced by the mind are good material qualities. And so it helps you to be healthy and to live longer by the practice of mindfulness. And just by applying mindfulness, just by practicing mindfulness meditation, you will be able to see for yourself the truth of what the Buddha taught. Now the Buddha taught that conditioned things, or say mind and matter, are impermanent, and they are suffering, or they are unsatisfactory, and they have no soul, or there is no soul, or they are insubstantial. Now you can learn them from books or from talks, but your understanding from books or talks is not your own understanding. But if you practice mindfulness meditation, you will come to see the impermanence of the objects you are observing, and the unsatisfactoriness and insubstantiality of these things clearly in your mind. And that understanding is your own understanding, and that is very precious. You cannot buy that kind of understanding even if you could pay $1 million. Nobody can take that away from you. That understanding, that knowledge is your own knowledge, and that your own knowledge you can gain just by practicing mindfulness. So mindfulness is a very powerful tool in penetrating into the nature of things, in seeing for ourselves what the Buddha taught, say 2,500 years ago. Through the practice of mindfulness or Vipassana meditation, you will make one discovery after another of mind and matter. And this series of discovery will help you ultimately to realize what the Buddhas and Arahants have realized long ago. That is the realization of Nibbana. And when the realization of Nibbana comes, you will be able to get rid of mental defilements altogether. When there are no mental defilements in our minds, we will be really happy. So we are sometimes not happy because we have desires, we have anger, anxiety, jealousy, pride, and so on. When our minds are free from all these mental defilements, we are peaceful and we are very happy. We are happy in a spiritual sense. So happiness comes from the eradication of impurities in the mind, and that can be achieved through the practice of Vipassana meditation or mindfulness meditation. Many people in the past have gone along this path and have arrived at their destination. So if we make effort, if we practice meditation, if we make real sincere effort, we will also be able to achieve what they have achieved. So the practice of meditation has many benefits to offer, but as I said in the beginning, do not think of these benefits when you are practicing meditation. They will come by themselves, and if you want them, if you follow them, if you go after them, they will go farther and farther away from you. So when you practice meditation, leave all these alone. Let go of everything and just simply sit and be mindful of the thing at the present moment. So the object at the present moment is the most important for you. And if you are mindful of the thing at the present moment, then you have done your duty. You have practiced meditation. And I think that is all there is to it, actually, with regard to the practice of meditation. So always remember the word mindfulness. Mindfulness of this, mindfulness of that. So long as there is mindfulness, you are doing the right thing. Okay. During this retreat, you will be hearing a lot more about Vipassana meditation from the Venerable Kepa Panyo. So I don't think I need to talk more about Vipassana now. We have to continue our class on dependent origination. Okay. Did you distribute these to all?
No, not yet, Dante.
Oh.
I want to make sure that you found no errors. I can make the copy.
Yeah. This chart is very, very good. Better than I did yesterday. So, we are today going to the level 2, right? So, if you are familiar with level 1, I think level 2 will be easy. And this chart gives you a very clear overview of level 1. It's very good. So, okay.
You want to make copies?
You want to make copies?
Yes, you go in.
Mm-hmm. So,
cái sân dân.
we are studying the link Nama Rupa paccaya salayatanam. So from 4 to 5. And yesterday we learned something about their relations. And today we'll go into more detail. Actually, today's talk and yesterday's talk are practically the same. But today's talk will be in more detail, just that. And this level 2 talk is meant for those who have familiarity with some knowledge of Abhidhamma. So let us refresh our memory while she makes copies. Now, there are 3 terms in this link, and they are Nama, Rupa, and Salayatana or Ayatana, right? So what is Nama here? Mental factors, right? Generally, Nama means what? Ordinarily, Nama means consciousness and mental factors. But here, Nama means mental factors only. Okay. And then Rupa. There are many kinds of Rupa. But here we need only some of them. What are those?
4 primaries.
4 primaries,
5
sensitivities,
1 heart,
1 heart, 1 life principle, 1 nutrition. Only those 5. Okay. And they will be related to the 6 bases, right? So what are the 6 bases? Eye base, ear base, nose base, tongue base, body base, and mind base. Okay. If you have got the sheets, you can look at them, and these lines show the relationship. So the first mental factors, mind only beings. So mental factors of mind only beings are related to the 6th base. 6th base means mind base, right? Yeah. And the mental factors of 5 aggregate beings are related to all 6. And then among the rupas, the 4 primaries are related to 5, the first 5 bases. And what is this? 5 sensitivities are related to 6th base or mind base only. And heart base is related to 6th mind base only. And life principle is related to 5, the first 5. And then nutrition is related to the 5. So if you remember this, if you understand this, you understand today's details. Doesn't look much better than the chart on the board. It's like a labyrinth. Okay, now we'll go to this chart. Or you may hold both charts, right? One in each hand. Now, this chart is prepared with reference to the causal relations taught in Patthana is the 7th book of Abhidhamma. So in the 7th book of Abhidhamma, the causal relation, different kinds of causal relations are taught. And there are altogether 24 such relations. And here, each relation, suppose, say, mental formations of mind-only beings to the 6th base. So this relation has to be described with reference to the causal relations taught in Patthana. Now these sometimes they are related by way of, say, 7 relations, 7 kinds of relations. Sometimes they are related by way of 6 relations, 5 relations, and so on. So the say mental factors here have to be divided into some kinds or some groups. So we get here in this chart, the first one is arupa realms. Arupa realms means mind only beings. Now here I use Pali words because I follow the commentary here. So arupa realm means just what? Mind only beings. And then the next column you get resultant nama. Now there is one relation among the 24 which is called a result relation. So in order to explain with reference to that, the nama has to be divided into 2 kinds, resultant nama and non-resultant nama. Resultant nama means nama which is the result of past karma, and non-resultant karma means which is not the result of past karma. Now we can describe nama to have 4 divisions: unwholesome nama, wholesome nama, resultant nama, and what is the other one? Functional nama. Unwholesome nama, you know what unwholesome nama is, right? Attachment, anger, and so on. Then wholesome nama, that is mindfulness, concentration, loving kindness, and so on. And resultant nama are those that are the result of past karma. Seeing consciousness, hearing consciousness, and so on are called resultant nama. And the last one is called functional. Functional means they just arise and disappear. They do not give results. Now, the unwholesome nama and wholesome nama, these two give results. Resultant nama, since they are themselves results, they do not give results. So they are the results, but they do not give results. The last one, functional nama, is actually identical with wholesome nama, but the difference is they do not give results. So there are 4 kinds. Among 4 kinds, the resultant nama means just the resultant nama, and non-resultant nama means the other 3: unwholesome, wholesome, and functional. And the third column, you see at relinking, and the next 2 lines in life. Now, the relationships at the moment of relinking and during life are different. That's why they have to be differentiated. Now, at relinking means at the moment of conception for beings like human beings. Relinking is the first moment in one life, and then it is followed by other moments. So after the moment of relinking until death is called, say, during life or in life. So we divide one life into two moments. One moment is very brief, very short moment, relinking moment. It does not last even 1 second, maybe a million of a second. And then in life means the whole life. If you live for 100 years, it will be 100 years. So we divide these two times, at relinking and in life. So at relinking, the relationship is and then in life means the whole life. If you live for 100 years, it will be 100 years. So we divide these two times, at relinking and in life. So at relinking, the relationship is the relationship at relinking is sometimes different from relationship during life. Therefore, that has to be divided into relinking and in life. Now, what kind of nama do you see at relinking? There are three instances of relinking, right? Nama to ayatana. What kind of nama do you see there? In the same line with relinking, what do you see? What kind of nama do you see? Resultant nama. Again, resultant nama, right? Again, go down, resultant nama. That means at relinking, at the moment of relinking, there is resultant nama only. There is no non-resultant nama. But in life, there are both resultant nama and non-resultant nama. So we get three divisions in Arupa realms. Resultant nama at relinking, resultant nama in life, and non-resultant nama in life. And their mode of relationship is different one from the other. Now, mind-only beings. These beings have only mind, that means only consciousness and mental factors, and no physical body. And these beings are reborn in that mind-only realm as a result of the jhana they practice in human life. So while they are human beings, they practice meditation and they get a kind of jhana. Jhana means a deep concentration, a higher state of mind. So as a result of that very powerful jhana, when they die, they are reborn in the realm of beings who have only mind and no physical body. That is because while they are practicing the jhana and also meditation in the human life, they do not want the physical body. They think that because of this physical body there are a lot of suffering. If we do not have this physical body, we don't suffer pain, we don't have diseases and so on. So with that thought, they practice meditation, and as the result of that powerful jhana concentration, when they are reborn, they are, according to their wish, they are reborn as just mind beings and no physical body. So the moment they are reborn there is called at relinking. So at that moment, what happens, what arises there is the resultant consciousness and resultant nama. I mean, mental factors. So when among these two, resultant nama, that is the mental factors, are related to the resultant consciousness, which here is the sixth ayatana, the sixth base. They are related. They arise together and they support each other. So they're related in that way. So that is the relationship you have to understand. Then, in how many ways they are related? That is for the level 3. During life after rebirth there, resultant nama arises again and again and again, billions and billions of times. And along with that resultant nama, resultant consciousness also arises. And resultant consciousness is what is called sixth ayatana here. So during life, say after rebirth until death, during life, resultant nama and resultant consciousness arise together, and resultant nama is related to the resultant consciousness, which is the sixth ayatana, sixth base. So in some ways, during life, not only resultant nama but also non-resultant nama arises. That means sometimes wholesome consciousness arises, sometimes unwholesome consciousness arises, sometimes functional consciousness arises. Along with that, the mental factors also arise. So during life, when there arises wholesome consciousness, there also arise a group of mental factors along with it. And that group of mental factors is non-resultant nama. And that non-resultant nama is related to the wholesome consciousness, which is the sixth ayatana. So, one relationship in the first chart becomes three relationships here in this detailed chart. Now the next one, 5 aggregate realms. 5 aggregate realms means realms where beings have all 5 aggregates. Those beings are like us. See, we are composed of 5 aggregates. The celestial beings, devas, are also composed of 5 aggregates. Brahmas, some Brahmas are also composed of 5 aggregates. So, in those realms, we have 3 kinds of relationship here. So, the first is resultant nama at relinking. Now, let us talk about human beings. So, at the moment of conception, what arises is first the resultant consciousness. Along with that resultant consciousness, there arise some mental factors, here called nama. And along with these two, consciousness and mental factors, there arise some material properties. There are 30 material properties arising. So, at the moment of conception as a human being, consciousness, resultant mental factors, and resultant material properties arise. These three. So, at the relinking moment, the resultant nama is related to the sixth ayatana. Sixth ayatana means consciousness. So, the mental factors are related to the consciousness by way of support, by way of arising together and so on. Now there is an asterisk. What does it say? With heart base. That means resultant nama arises together with heart base. Among the 30 material properties, one is heart base. So heart base arises together with it. But here we leave out heart base simply because we are talking about nama to sixth ayatana. Heart base is not nama. What is it? What is this? What is it? Nama or rupa? It's rupa. So we leave this out. But actually, with the resultant nama, heart base also arises. In life too, during life too, the resultant nama arises. Now, along with it, consciousness arises. So, in life, resultant nama is related to consciousness, which is sixth ayatana. And during life, non-resultant nama also arises. Nama arises, we are not so aware of it because it's a nature of peaceful and inactive. But non-resultant namas, we are aware of them. So sometimes we are angry, sometimes we are attached to something, sometimes we have concentration, sometimes we are happy, and so we can experience or we can know the arising of non-resultant namas during life. So when non-resultant nama arises, along with it there is consciousness, which is non-resultant sixth ayatana. So they are related. So when they arise together, they are said to be related to each other. When you practice meditation, you practice mindfulness. So what is mindfulness? Is it rupa or nama? Nama. Resultant nama or non-resultant nama? When you are practicing meditation, non-resultant nama, right? Okay. Along with mindfulness, what arises also? Consciousness, right? Mindfulness cannot arise by itself. It must arise together with consciousness. So when you try to be mindful of this thing and that thing, then there is mindfulness, and along with mindfulness there is consciousness. That consciousness is resultant or non-resultant? Non-resultant. Wholesome or unwholesome? Wholesome. Okay. So, between these two, according to this link, mindfulness is a condition for the consciousness. So here the link is nama to sixth base, right? Mindfulness to consciousness. So mindfulness is related to that consciousness according to this link. Nama paccaya, sixth ayatana. So in actual practice too, you can see this link between nama and sixth ayatana. What is anger? Nama or rupa? Nama. Consciousness or mental factor? Mental factor. Nama. And along with anger, what arises? Consciousness. Dosa mula. Dosa mula cita, right? consciousness accompanied by dosa. So, when you are angry and there is anger and there is consciousness, then anger, which is nama here, is related to the consciousness, which is sixth ayatana. So this link, you can see this link when you are angry. The same with, say, when you do some meritorious deed or whatever merit you do, you can see this link. Say, nama to the sixth sense. Generally speaking, nama rupa paccaya salayatana. So in your life too, if you know how to see it, you will see this link. Okay, let's go to the next. Nama to 5 ayatanas. So, nama means mental factors, and 5 ayatana means eye base, ear base, nose base, tongue base, and body base. So the eye, the ear, and the nose, the tongue, and the body. Okay. Now 5 aggregate realms. That means beings like human beings. Resultant nama at relinking 5 ayatanas. So at relinking of beings having both mind and matter, the resultant nama is related to 5 ayatanas. Now, we cannot take a human being as an example here, because at the moment of conception as a human being, these have not yet arisen. Right? There is just a tiny little, we cannot call it a drop even, right? A very small tiny speck of 30 material properties and consciousness and mental factors. So among these 30, these are not included, because at that moment it has no eye, no ear, and so on. So they will arise maybe after 7 weeks or 10 weeks or whatever. So we will take another kind of being as an example. Now, when gods, right? Celestial beings. When they are born as a full-grown people, not like human beings. So, if you are to be reborn in the celestial beings, you don't have to stay in your mother's womb. You just appear there as a grown-up man, about 16 years of age or something like that. So, when you are reborn as I will call them deva. So, when you are reborn as a deva, you already have these 5 bases, even at the moment of conception. So, we'll take that as an example. So, at the moment of relinking as a deva, there is resultant consciousness, and there are resultant mental factors, and there are about 70 material properties. Among them, eye base, ear base, nose base, tongue base, and body base, and also heart base. So there, the resultant nama, the mental factors, are related to those 5 ayatanas, eye base, ear base, and so on. And then during life, resultant nama arises again and again as in human beings. So during life also, the resultant nama is related to the 5 bases. And during life, non-resultant nama also arise. So to devas, sometimes wholesome consciousness arises, sometimes unwholesome consciousness arises, and along with them, the mental factors. So mental factors are called here nama. So during life there are a lot of non-resultant nama arising, and when they arise they are related to, or they are conditioned for the 5 bases, I base and so on. So their relationship is nama to ayatanas. Plus sign there. And it says with 4 primaries. So when the resultant nama arises at relinking moment, it arises together with 4 primaries and the other 5 ayatanas and actually the other material properties. But we are concerned with nama to 5 ayatanas here. That's why we leave that out. So we'll find it later down. At the moment of relinking as a human being, how many material properties arise? You remember? 30, right? So among 30, there is body base. There is no eye base, ear base, nose base, tongue base, but there is body base. So at the moment of relinking as a human being, resultant nama is related to the 5th ayatana. So we can explain that way with regard to human beings. During lifetime, as human beings, resultant nama arise again and again. And at that time, there are all material properties. So, during lifetime, whenever a resultant nama arises, then that resultant nama is related to the 5 bases. That means only when there is nama are we alive. So if there is no nama, we die, and when we die, these 5 bases also die. So the resultant nama is said to be a condition for the existence of the 5 bases. Not that resultant nama produces the 5 bases, but the resultant nama supports them so that they can exist. So by way of support, the resultant nama is a condition for 5 bases during lifetime in human beings.